You've entered Interstellar Chronicles. Close your eyes and drift into another world, a place where stars whisper forgotten names, where time folds and destinies collide across galaxies. Your journey begins now. Foxlike alien Maestro mocked the human. His heart left her speechless HFY sci-fi story. The galaxy spun in a relentless dance of stars, its vastness ruled by the Quivani ascendancy, a civilization of lithe, fox-like beings whose elegance was a blade, their ferocity a symphony. Their fur shimmered like molten metal under starlight, silver, obsidian, or flame red, catching the cosmos in prismatic waves that seemed to hum with their own rhythm, each strand a thread in the tapestry of their pride. Their tails flicked with predatory grace, their amber eyes pierced souls with a glance, and their claws wove art as effortlessly as they drew blood. To the Quivana, strength was art, and art was power. Every gesture a performance, every battle a crescendo, every symphony a declaration of their supremacy. Their culture revered the eternal, their lives stretching centuries, their cities built to outlast the stars themselves, each structure a monument to their unyielding legacy. Their technology was woven into their art, sonic resonators that powered their cities, holographic tapestries that told their history, and neural interfaces that amplified their emotions, making their symphonies a force that could sway minds or shatter stone. Humans, by contrast, were a curiosity, fragile, emotional, their fleeting lives deemed unworthy of the ascendancy's eternal stage, their hearts too soft to resonate in a galaxy that sang of power. But in the crimson-hued city of Akarashi, on a planet where the aesthetics of ancient Earth's east melded with alien splendor, one human would rewrite their score, threading a melody of courage, love, and defiance that would echo through the cosmos, a song that would challenge the stars themselves. The city square of Akarashi thrummed with life, a pulsating heart in a world of wonder. Lanterns glowed like fireflies against a twilight sky streaked with auroras, their light weaving through pagoda-like spires whose eaves curled like calligraphy strokes, each curve a testament to the planet's reverence for beauty and precision. Cherry blossom petals, bioluminescent and delicate, drifted on a synthetic breeze, casting pinks and golds across cobblestones embedded with sonic resonators that hummed softly underfoot, vibrating in time with the city's pulse. The market was a symphony of its own, voices rising and falling like notes. Merchants hawking wares, their calls blending with the laughter of Quivana children weaving through the crowd, their tails flicking like playful metronomes. Holographic silks shimmered with mood-driven colors, neural teas sparked visions of distant nebulae, crystalline instruments sang with a touch, and bioluminescent orchids pulsed in time with Akarashi's heartbeat. Artisans crafted neural jewelry that whispered memories to the wearer, their stalls framed by bamboo scaffolds swaying above holographic rivers, their surfaces reflecting the auroras above. Quivana maestros, revered as both artists and warriors, conducted symphonies of light and sound, their claws tracing intricate patterns to summon holographic melodies that rippled through the crowd, stirring hearts and minds in a dance of emotion and power. Their performances were more than art. They were a language, a weapon, a prayer, weaving the Quivana's pride into the fabric of the city, each note a thread in a tapestry that bound their people together. The air was thick with the scent of plum wine, incense, and the faint ozone of alien tech, a sensory tapestry that enveloped all who walked Akarashi's streets, drawing them into its rhythm like notes in a grand composition. Beyond the square, Akarashi unfolded in layers of wonder and mystery. Narrow alleys glowed with neon signs in alien script, their characters pulsing like heartbeats, leading to hidden shrines where Quivana prayed to ancestors, their voices a soft hum that blended with the city's pulse. Temples, their roofs tiled with scales that shimmered like dragon skin, housed crystalline altars that resonated with the songs of the past, their walls etched with sigils that told of Quivana triumphs, battles won, stars claimed, symphonies that shaped the galaxy. Underground, a network of tunnels lined with bioluminescent moss connected the city's heart to its edges, their walls carved with stories of the Ascendancy's rise, now at risk of becoming a requiem. Above, floating platforms hosted performances, their surfaces glowing with sonic patterns, their edges adorned with holographic koi that swam in endless loops, a quiet counterpoint to the city's vibrant chaos. Akarashi was alive, its every corner a note in a symphony that had played for centuries, a melody that refused to fade. Amid the spectacle, Elias Kane, a human neuroweaver, moved with cautious purpose, his worn leather jacket and tousled brown hair marking him as an outsider in a sea of shimmering fur and flowing robes. His profession was rare, even among humans. He wove neural tapestries, intricate constructs of memory and emotion that could heal trauma, evoke joy, or preserve a moment forever. Each tapestry was a labor of love, coded in neural pulses that danced like music in the mind, blending science and art into something transcendent. He could weave a memory of a child's laughter to ease a parent's grief, a vision of a lost homeworld to comfort a refugee, or a dream of hope to lift a community from despair, his work threading light through the darkest corners of the soul. His mission today was delicate: deliver a bespoke tapestry to a human enclave on Akarashi's outskirts, a work crafted to soothe the collective grief of a community ravaged by a plague that had claimed thousands. The tapestry, stored on his data tablet, was a masterpiece. A weave of hope, memories of Earth's oceans crashing against rocky shores, the laughter of lost loved ones, the warmth of a sunrise, and the quiet strength of human resilience, all designed to mend broken spirits and remind the enclave that they could endure, that they could rise again. Elias clutched the tablet, its soft glow reflecting in his brown eyes, which held a quiet fire beneath their calm surface, a spark of determination forged in the crucible of a hard life. He navigated the bustling square, weaving through Cuivana twice his height, their fur gleaming under the lanterns, their tails swaying like metronomes keeping time to an unseen score. Their presence was overwhelming, each step a performance, each glance a judgment, their claws clicking softly against their sonic batons, which hummed with latent power, ready to unleash a symphony or a storm. He felt their eyes on him, their amusement a weight he'd carried since childhood on the fringes of human space, where survival meant dodging pirates, bartering with smugglers, and proving humans weren't as weak as the galaxy believed. His parents, traders who roamed the asteroid belts, had taught him to read tech like a book, to weave solutions from chaos. Their lessons etched into his hands as surely as their loss was etched into his heart. His sister, Lila, had been his light, her laughter the first tapestry he ever wove, a memory that drove him still. Orphaned young, Elias had grown up on a derelict station, scavenging tech and learning to hack neural systems, his skills honed in the shadows of a galaxy that dismissed his kind. He was nearly at the Enclave's transport hub, a sleek platform where shuttles hummed with anti-grav tech, their hulls adorned with holographic koi that swam across their surfaces in endless loops, their movements a quiet counterpoint to the square's chaos. But before he could reach it, a Cuivana patrol blocked his path, their figures parting the crowd like a blade through silk, their tails lashing with quiet authority, their fur catching the light in a cascade of colors that seemed to shift with their mood. Their leader was a vision, a being of such radiance that the square seemed to dim around her, as if the lanterns themselves bowed to her presence. Her fur was molten silver, catching the light in a cascade of sparkles that rippled like water, her tail long and flowing, sweeping the cobblestones with every step, its tip glowing faintly with bioluminescent threads woven into her fur, a mark of her status. Maestro Vera, her name a melody whispered in awe across the galaxy, was a legend among her people. Her symphonies could bring an audience to their knees, stir warriors to battle, or calm a riot with a single note. Her performances were woven into Akarashi's soul, her sonic baton a scepter of power that could reshape emotions, bend wills, or shatter stone with a flick of her wrist. She was more than a maestro. She was a force, her every movement a note in a symphony that had never faltered, her amber eyes sharp as a predator's, raking over Elias with a gaze that could cut through steel. A smirk curled her lips, revealing canines that gleamed like polished ivory. A human in Akarashi's heart? She purred, her voice a harmonic cadence that resonated in Elias's chest, equal parts beauty and scorn, like a note that could soothe or cut. You are lost, little weaver. This stage is not for your kind. Elias, wiry and unassuming, met her gaze, his eyes steady despite the weight of her presence, his heart racing but his mind clear. He'd faced worse. Pirate ambushes in asteroid belts, corporate enforcers on backwater moons, the void's cold indifference that threatened to swallow hope whole. Lila's loss had been his crucible, her laughter his first tapestry, a fire that burned in him still. He squared his shoulders, his voice firm but measured, a quiet defiance in every word that carried the weight of years spent proving his worth. "Not lost, Maestro," he said, his tone calm but unyielding, like a steady beat beneath a storm. "I'm delivering a neural tapestry for my people. It's a job, not a performance." Her tail flicked, a gesture of amusement that sent a ripple through her fur, like moonlight on a restless sea, her ears twitching as if catching a false note in his words. "A tapestry?" she said, her tone dripping with condescension, her voice a melody that mocked even as it enchanted. "Your kind petals fleeting dreams, scraps of emotion for the weak. Step aside, or I'll have you silenced like a discordant note." The crowd tittered, their laughter a sharp, crystalline chime that echoed through the square, a reminder of Elias's place in their world, or lack thereof. Among them was a young Quivani named Silith, her obsidian fur gleaming, her eyes like twin moons, her tail flicking with youthful arrogance. She was Vera's protégé, a rising star whose symphonies were already whispered about, her talent rivaling her mentor's but tempered by a brashness that made her reckless. She leaned forward, her claws tapping her baton, her laughter sharper than the rest. "A human weaver?" she scoffed, her voice a high note of disdain. "What's next? Teaching our drones to sing?" The sting was familiar, a wound carved deep from years on the galaxy's fringes, where humans were mocked as soft, transient things, their lives too brief to matter in a culture that revered the eternal. But Elias didn't flinch. Survival had taught him to stand his ground, to weave hope from despair, to find strength in the quiet moments others overlooked. "Silence me, and you'll spark chaos," he said, his voice low, cutting through the noise like a well-placed chord, steady and resonant. "My people need this tapestry to heal. Let me pass, and we keep the harmony of your precious city." Vera's smirk faltered, her ears twitching as if catching a new rhythm, a subtle shift in the melody of their encounter. A human daring to challenge her, a maestro whose every gesture commanded obedience? Unthinkable. Her performers, clad in flowing robes shimmering with hollow threads that pulsed in time with their heartbeats, exchanged glances, their claws tightening on their sonic batons, ready to enforce her will with a single note. Silith's tail lashed, her eyes narrowing, but she held back, sensing Vera's hesitation. The crowd leaned closer, their tails swaying, sensing a performance unlike any other. Vera stepped forward, her tail sweeping the cobblestones, her amber eyes narrowing as she loomed over Elias, her presence a physical note that pressed against his chest. "You speak of harmony?" she said, her voice a low purr, laced with curiosity and scorn. "Your kind knows only discord, human. Your dreams are as fleeting as your lives." Elias held her gaze, his heart pounding but his resolve unbroken, a quiet fire burning in his chest. "Maybe," he said, his voice steady, a soft defiance that carried like a melody. "But even fleeting dreams can change things. Let me do my job and maybe I'll show you." The crowd murmured, their laughter fading into whispers, their tails stilling as they sensed the tension. A new note in Akarashi's symphony. Vera's ears flicked, her smirk replaced by a flicker of intrigue, her claws flexing as if to test the air between them. Before she could respond, a low rumble shook the square, the cobblestones vibrating beneath their feet, a deep bass note that silenced the crowd. The lanterns flickered, their light stuttering as a pulse bomb detonated, its shockwaves shattering a nearby stall into a cascade of splintered bamboo and glowing silk, cherry blossom petals scattered like embers, their bioluminescence fading in the smoke, and the air filled with screams as plasma bolts lit the twilight, painting the sky in streaks of fire. The attackers were human separatists, a rogue faction driven by desperation and rage against the Quivana's dominance. Their leader, Karan, a zealot with eyes like burning coals and scars that told of battles fought in humanity's name, preached that humans would never bow to alien rule. He was a ghost from Elias's past, a man who'd once been a friend on the derelict station where Elias grew up. Their bond forged in shared hardship but broken when Koran's grief turned to rage after the plague took his family. The bomb was their opening act, a declaration of war in Akarashi's heart, meant to fracture the fragile truce between species. Vera's performers sprang into action, their sonic batons humming as they wove defensive frequencies, the air shimmering with protective waves that deflected incoming bolts, bending light and sound into a shield. Their movements were a choreography of war, their tails lashing in sync, their fur glowing with sigils that pulsed with power, each note a weapon. Silith fought with a ferocity that matched Vera's, her baton weaving a counterpoint, her obsidian fur gleaming with sweat, her eyes fierce but focused. But the Separatists targeted Elias, mistaking him for a collaborator trading with the Quivani elite, their plasma rifles trained on the human who dared walk their stage. Instinct took over. Elias dove behind a jade statue of a coiled dragon, its scales glowing with embedded tech, its eyes flickering like lanterns. He grabbed Vera's arm, pulling her down as a plasma bolt scorched the ground where she'd stood, the heat singeing the tip of her tail, leaving a faint smell of burnt fur. "Stay down!" he hissed, his heart pounding like a drum, his breath ragged but his mind sharp, racing with the instincts of a man who'd survived the galaxy's worst. She snarled, her fur bristling as she shoved him off, her claws glinting in the lantern light, her amber eyes flashing with indignation. "Do not touch me, human!" she snapped, her voice a sharp note that cut through the chaos, her tail lashing like a whip. But as another bolt grazed the statue, sending sparks flying, she realized his quick thinking had saved her from a direct hit. For a fleeting moment, their gazes locked, her fury meeting his defiance, and something unspoken sparked, a note of discord that promised harmony, a dissonance that hinted at a deeper melody. The skirmish erupted into chaos, the square a maelstrom of flashing blades, burning stalls, and holographic koi scattering like frightened spirits, their images flickering as the projectors faltered. Elias was no fighter, his hands better suited to weaving code than wielding weapons, but his mind was sharp, honed by years dodging danger in the galaxy's shadows. Pirate traps, corporate blockades, the endless hunger of the void. He hacked into the square's holoprojectors with his data tablet, his fingers flying across the screen, flooding the air with disorienting visions. Ghostly warriors clad in samurai armor, their blades drawn in a spectral dance. Swirling cherry blossoms that obscured targeting systems, and spectral koi that swam through the chaos, confusing the separatist sensors. The crowd stumbled, disoriented, their tails twitching in confusion, giving Vera's performers an edge. Vera fought like a tempest, her sonic baton a silver arc, its frequencies shattering drones and stunning attackers with bursts of sound that rippled through the air like shockwaves. Her movements were a dance, each step precise, each note lethal, her tail swaying like a conductor's baton, her fur glowing with sigils that flared with each strike. Silith matched her, her baton weaving a harmony, her youth lending her a reckless energy that turned the tide, her eyes blazing with a fire that echoed Vera's. Yet Vera noticed Elias's quiet ingenuity, his calm under fire, the way he wove order from chaos without raising a fist, his tapestries turning the square's technology against their enemies in a way her people had never considered. When the last separatist fell, the square was a wreck, stalls smoldering, lanterns shattered, petals charred, the air thick with the acrid scent of plasma and burnt silk. Vera turned to Elias, panting, her silver fur streaked with ash, her tail lashing, her amber eyes searching his face as if seeing him for the first time. Her sonic baton hung at her side, still humming faintly, its light casting shadows across her face, highlighting the tension in her jaw. "You wove chaos into order," she said, her voice laced with disbelief, her ears twitching as if catching a new melody in his presence, a note that didn't fit her understanding of the world. "Why risk yourself for us? You could have fled, saved your own skin." Elias wiped blood from a cut on his cheek, his smile faint but steady, His brown eyes warmed despite the chaos, like a candle burning in a storm. "Didn't have much choice, Maestro," he said, his voice soft but firm, carrying the weight of truth, a quiet strength that seemed to resonate in the smoky air. "We're all stuck in this symphony now, and I'm not one to leave a song unfinished." Silith approached, her obsidian fur gleaming, her baton still in hand, her eyes narrowed but curious. "He fights without claws," she said to Vera, her voice low, a note of respect creeping into her tone. "Like a maestro, but different." Vera didn't respond, her gaze still on Elias, her tail flicking in acknowledgement, a silent note of agreement. The Separatists' attack had crippled Akarashi's orbital defenses, leaving the city vulnerable to further raids, its once impenetrable shield now a flickering ghost. Vera's performance platform, a floating stage powered by sonic resonators, was grounded, its delicate systems fried by the pulse bomb, its crystalline structure cracked like a broken instrument, its light dimmed. Elias's shuttle, the Starling, was impounded by the Cuivana Council, who convened in their domed hall, a cavernous space adorned with holographic tapestries depicting their victories. Starships falling, planets bending to their will, their fur glowing under alien suns. The council blamed humans for the chaos, their voices a chorus of indignation, their fur bristling, their tails slashing the air like whips, their claws clicking against the polished obsidian floor. Elder Karin, a Cuivani with flame-red fur and a voice like thunder, led the charge, his distrust of humans legendary, his tail lashing in disdain. "This human brought chaos to our stage," he growled, his amber eyes glowing with contempt. "He must be cast out, or our harmony will shatter." But Vera stepped forward, her presence commanding silence, her sonic baton at her side like a sheathed blade, her silver fur gleaming like a challenge. "He fought with artistry," she declared, her tail lashing, her tone daring contradiction, her amber eyes blazing with a fire that matched the auroras above. "He saved your precious city, Karin. He stays under my watch until we restore order to Akarashi." Mirith, the elder with white fur streaked with age, her eyes clouded but sharp, spoke next, her voice a whisper that carried the weight of centuries. "There is more to this human than meets the eye," she said, her tale slow but deliberate. "Let him prove his worth, Vera. But know the council watches." Karin's claws tapped the table, his eyes narrowing, but he relented, his tail twitching with suppressed rage. The council granted Elias temporary reprieve, their amber eyes promising scrutiny, their claws clicking in reluctant agreement. Stranded in Akarashi, Elias and Vera were forced into an uneasy alliance, a duet in a city on the brink of discord. Akarashi was a marvel, a blend of ancient Earth's east and alien innovation. Streets lined with holographic koi ponds that rippled underfoot, their fish darting in patterns that told stories of forgotten worlds. Temples glowing with bioluminescent moss, their walls etched with sigils that pulsed like heartbeats. Air heavy with the scent of plum wine, incense, and the faint hum of sonic tech that wove the city's rhythm. Markets bustled with vendors selling starfruit that glowed like miniature suns, their stalls framed by bamboo scaffolds that swayed above holographic rivers, their surfaces reflecting the auroras above. Temples, their roofs tiled with scales that shimmered like dragon skin, housed shrines where Cuivane prayed to ancestors, their voices a soft hum that blended with the city's pulse, a quiet counterpoint to its vibrant chaos. In one such temple, Elias met Mirith again, who shared tales of Akarashi's founding, a city born from a symphony that united warring clans, its sonic core a gift from a forgotten star. Her stories gave Elias insight into the Cuivana's pride, their fear of losing their eternal stage to chaos. Tensions simmered beneath the surface, a discordant note in Akarashi's melody. Vera's performers, their fur adorned with glowing sigils that shifted with their emotions, mocked Elias, calling him dream spinner and soft paw, their laughter sharp as broken glass, their tails flicking in disdain. Silith was the loudest, her baton twirling like a challenge, her youth making her bold. But Elias didn't bow. He worked tirelessly, using his neural weaving skills to repair their damaged sonic tech, threading neural patches into their batons to restore their harmonics. He wove patches that stabilized their resonators, his fingers dancing across his tablet like a musician on a koto, each line of code a note in a larger score. He repaired Silitha's baton, cracked in the skirmish, weaving a neural patch that not only restored its function but added a new frequency. A soft hum that echoed the city's cherry blossoms, a sound that brought a tear to her amber eye. She tested it, her eyes widening as the sound filled the air, a melody that carried the weight of hope. "How did you know?" she whispered, her tail stilling, her claws retracting as she offered him a nod, a silent acknowledgement of his skill. Slowly, grudgingly, the others began to respect him, their taunts giving way to curious glances, their sigils glowing softer in his presence. Vera watched him, her disdain softening like a melody shifting from minor to major, her amber eyes lingering on him longer than she intended, drawn to the quiet fire that burned within him. He wasn't powerful like a Quivana, his frame slight, his hands unscarred by battle, but his ingenuity was relentless, a flame that warmed rather than consumed. She noticed the small things, how he offered his water ration to a tired performer, his smile gentle but genuine, how he sketched the city's skyline on his tablet during breaks, capturing its beauty in lines of code and light, how he listened to Silitha's stories of her first performance, his brown eyes warm with understanding, disarming her scorn. He was no warrior, no maestro, but he was relentless, his heart a rhythm that refused to falter, a beat that resonated with her own in ways she couldn't yet name. One evening, in a temple garden where lanterns cast shadows like ink paintings, Vera found Elias weaving a neural tapestry on his data tablet. The garden was a sanctuary, its air heavy with the scent of jasmine and synthetic rain, its cherry trees glowing with petals that pulsed softly in the dark, their bioluminescence a quiet symphony of light. His hands, rough from work, moved with a gentleness that belied their strength, threading emotions into a scene of Akarashi's skyline. Pagodas glowing under auroras, cherry blossoms falling like soft rain, koi swimming through the air in graceful arcs. The tapestry wasn't just code. It was alive, pulsing with the city's heartbeat, capturing its beauty and pain in equal measure. A work that could make even a Quivani weep. She stood beside him, her tail curling slightly, her fur brushing his arm, a contact that sent a shiver through her, a note she hadn't expected. "Why craft this?" she asked, her voice softer than she intended. A melody stripped of its usual sharpness, her tail stilling as she leaned closer, drawn by the quiet intensity of his work. "This city is not your stage. You could weave for your own people, yet you capture ours, our heart, our pain." Elias glanced up, his brown eyes warm, his smile faint but genuine, like a candle in the dark, steady and unyielding. "It's not about owning a stage, Vera," he said, his voice soft but resonant, carrying the weight of truth, a melody that seemed to weave itself around her heart. "It's about feeling it, really feeling it, the way the lanterns flicker, the way the petals fall, the way the city sings even when it's breaking. I see it and I see you, the way you carry its heart in your symphonies, the way you fight for it, even when it hurts. I'm just trying to weave something worthy of that, something that honors you." Her ears flattened, a flush spreading beneath her silver fur, warming her from within like a note held too long, a chord that vibrated through her soul. No Quivani had ever spoken to her like this, seen her beyond the maestro, the legend. Her symphonies were her armor, her baton her shield, but Elias saw the doubts she buried, the weight of her role, the flicker of longing she'd never named, the fear that her art might one day fail her people. "You speak boldly for one so fragile," she said, but her voice trembled, betraying the crack in her composure. Her tail brushing his leg, a fleeting touch that sent a shiver through them both. "You're kind. Your lives are so short. How can you create anything that lasts?" "Maybe we don't last," Elias said, holding her gaze, his voice steady but soft, like a note held just long enough to resonate, a melody that lingered in the air. "But that's why we try so hard. Every moment matters, every dream, every heartbeat. You're not just a maestro, Vera. I see the way you pause before a crescendo, the way you carry your people's hopes in every note, the way you hesitate when you think no one's watching. There's more to you than sound and spectacle. A heart that beats louder than any symphony. Her heart raced like a drumbeat, a rhythm out of sync with the control she'd mastered over centuries, a melody she couldn't control. Cuivana valued power, performance, the perfection of form, but Elias saw her. The soul beneath the art, the melody beneath the mask, the woman who feared her notes might one day fall silent. She turned away, her claws flexing, her tail brushing his leg again, a silent acknowledgement of the spark between them, a dissonance in her ironclad beliefs that promised a new harmony. She felt exposed, her armor cracking, but the warmth in his eyes made it bearable, a melody she wanted to learn. In a hidden shrine beneath the city, its walls glowing with moss that pulsed like a heartbeat, Vera shared a secret she'd never spoken aloud. The shrine was small, its air heavy with the scent of ancient wood and incense, its silence a stark contrast to Akarashi's chaos. She told Elias of a symphony she'd never performed, a piece written for her mother, a melody of grief and love that she feared would break her if she played it. "It's too raw," she whispered, her tail still, her claws retracted, her amber eyes glistening. "It would show too much of me." Elias took her hand, his touch gentle, his voice soft. "Maybe that's what makes it powerful," he said, his eyes locked on hers. "Showing who you are, that's the bravest art there is." Her breath caught, her heart racing, a melody she couldn't control. She leaned closer, her fur brushing his arm, her tail curling around his leg, a gesture of trust no Cuivane had ever offered a human. "And you?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "What do you fear, Elias?" He hesitated, his eyes distant, then spoke, his voice raw. "Losing the people I love again, failing them. That's why I weave, to hold on to them, to make sure they're not forgotten." He paused, his hand tightening on hers. "And now, I'm afraid of losing you." The air between them hummed, charged with unspoken longing, the shrine's glow casting their shadows as one. Vera pressed her hand to his chest, feeling his heartbeat, a rhythm that grounded her. "You are impossible," she whispered, her voice a melody of wonder and fear, her amber eyes glistening with tears she didn't try to hide. Days turned to weeks, and the separatists regrouped, their leader Karan more dangerous than ever, his zeal a fire that burned without reason, consuming all in its path. He sought to destabilize Akarashi's fragile truce with humanity, to prove the Cuivana's dominance was a lie that could be shattered. Elias and Vera uncovered his plan. A neural virus, disguised as a performance signal, designed to overload Cuivana minds with despair, turning their own symphonies against them, a betrayal of their art that would break their spirit. The virus was hidden in the city's sonic network, a web of resonators that powered Akarashi's defenses and art, woven into the very fabric of its culture like a poison in its veins. To stop it, they had to navigate the city's underbelly, neon-lit markets where vendors sold starfruit that glowed like miniature suns, their stalls framed by bamboo scaffolds that swayed above holographic rivers. Hidden shrines where Cuivane prayed to ancestors, their voices a soft hum that blended with the city's pulse, and underground tunnels lined with bioluminescent moss, their walls etched with stories of Cuivane triumphs, now at risk of becoming their requiem. Their partnership became a dance, seamless and unspoken, a duet that wove their strengths into something greater than the sum of its parts. Elias's neural weaving disarmed digital traps, his tapestries countering the virus's code with bursts of hope and memory. Images of human and Cuivana children playing together under Akarashi's auroras, of shared meals under starlight, of laughter that transcended species. Each image a thread in a tapestry of unity. He worked with a quiet intensity, his fingers flying across his tablet, his eyes narrowed in focus, his tapestries a shield against despair, each one a labor of love. Vera's sonic pulses cleared their path, her baton weaving frequencies that shattered barriers and stunned guards, her movements a choreography of power and grace, her tail swaying in time with her strikes, her fur glowing with sigils that flared like stars. Their hands brushed as they worked, sparks of tension igniting. His calloused fingers against her soft fur, her claws grazing his skin without cutting. Each touch and note in a melody they were only beginning to understand, a harmony that grew stronger with every step. Silith joined them, her skepticism replaced by a fierce loyalty, her baton a counterpoint to Vera's, her youth lending her a reckless energy that pushed them forward. She shared her own fears, her voice low in the tunnel's glow, admitting she doubted she'd ever match Vera's legend. Elias listened, his silence a canvas, his words gentle. "You don't have to be her," he said. "Your melody's different, Silith. That's your strength." Her tale stilled, her eyes softening, a new respect blooming. They encountered a new ally, Terran, a human technician from the Enclave who'd infiltrated Akarashi to aid Elias. Her dark eyes sharp with determination, her hands skilled with tech. Terran had lost her brother to the plague, her grief a mirror to Elias's, her resolve a fire that matched his own. She helped Elias hack deeper into the sonic network, her knowledge of human tech complementing his neural weaving. Their combined efforts uncovering the virus's core, a hidden server in the tunnels, guarded by Koran's elite. Terran's presence added tension, her blunt humor clashing with Silith's pride. But their shared goal forged a fragile bond, their banter a counterpoint to the mission's weight. The neural virus's release loomed, its code spreading through Akarashi's sonic network like a poison, threatening to turn the city's art into a weapon of despair, a betrayal that would break the Quivana's spirit. Koran's forces struck at the city's heart, a temple complex where the sonic core, a massive crystal that powered the city's defenses, hummed with latent energy, its light pulsing like a heartbeat, a beacon of Akarashi's soul. The battle was chaos, sonic waves clashing, sending ripples through the air that shattered stone. Drones screaming as they dove, their plasma bolts igniting the night. Cherry blossoms burning, their embers falling like tears, their glow fading in the smoke. Vera fought like a tempest, her sonic baton a silver storm, its frequencies shattering enemy lines, her tail lashing as she danced through the fray, her fur glowing with sigils that flared like stars, each strike a note in a symphony of war. Silith matched her baton weaving a harmony, her youth lending her a reckless energy that turned the tide. Elias and Terran used the city's hollow network, weaving a counter-tapestry that flooded the air with visions of unity. Quivani and humans standing together, their strengths entwined, their hopes interwoven, each image a spark of hope in the darkness. The crowd, watching from the square, began to chant, their voices a chorus that drowned out Koran's lies, their lanterns raised like a sea of stars, their faith in Elias's vision, a spark that grew into a flame. But Koran was relentless, his zeal a fire that burned without reason, consuming all in its path. He cornered Elias and Vera in the temple's inner sanctum, a chamber of crystal walls that reflected the sonic core's crimson glow, its light pulsing like a warning, a heartbeat on the verge of stopping. His neural disruptor, a sleek device pulsing with red light, was aimed at Elias's mind, threatening to unravel his thoughts, to strip away the tapestries that defined him, to erase the man who dared to challenge a galaxy. "You're nothing?" Koran spat, his eyes wild with zeal, his face scarred from battles fought in humanity's name, his voice a roar of rage and despair. "A weak human playing artist, thinking you can stand with gods." Vera lunged, her sonic pulse deflecting the disruptor's blast, the air humming with her power, her tail a silver streak as she moved, her movements a dance of desperation and grace. But Koran's second shot grazed her side, blood matting her silver fur, staining it scarlet, a stark contrast against her radiant glow. She staggered, her baton slipping, her breath ragged as she fell to one knee, her eyes locked on Elias, a silent plea in their amber depths, a melody of fear and love. Elias caught her, his arms steady despite the fear clawing at his chest, his hands pressing against her wound to stem the flow, his heart pounding with a desperation he'd never known, a terror that he might lose her. "Stay with me, Vera," he pleaded, his voice breaking, his eyes locked on hers, willing her to hold on, his hands trembling but firm. Silith and Terran joined the fight, Silith's baton weaving a harmony, Terran's tech disabling Koran's drones, their efforts a chorus of defiance. With a desperate surge, Elias wove a neural spike on his tablet, a burst of raw emotion, love, defiance, hope, that overloaded Charon's disruptor, sending sparks flying as the device fried in a shower of light, the air crackling with its failure. Vera, wounded but unbroken, summoned her last strength, her sonic wave shattering Charon's platform, sending him crashing into the temple's floor, the crystal walls trembling with the impact, their reflections fracturing like a broken melody, a requiem for his cause. As Charon's forces fell, the sonic core hummed brighter, its light bathing Akarashi in crimson and gold, a beacon of victory that pulsed like a heartbeat, a testament to their triumph. Vera pulled Elias close, her fur warm against his skin, her tail wrapping around him, her breath shaky but steady, her amber eyes glistening with unshed tears, a melody of relief and love. "You've changed me," she said, her voice thick with emotion, a melody that carried her heart, each word a note in a song only they could sing. "I saw only weakness in your kind, only discord. But you are my symphony, my heart, the note I never knew I needed." Elias's hand cupped her face, his thumb brushing a tear from her fur, his touch gentle but unwavering, a promise woven into his skin, a tapestry of love. "And you're mine, Vera," he said, his voice soft but strong, a chord that resonated with truth, a melody that could hold the stars. "My muse, my home, the melody I'll never stop weaving." The city was saved, but their fight wasn't over. The Cuivana Council, bound by centuries of tradition, convened in their domed hall, a cavernous space where holographic tapestries of their victories played in endless loops, starships falling, planets bending, their fur glowing under alien suns. Their fur bristled, their tails slashed the air, their voices a cacophony of indignation as they debated the scandal of a maestro and a human, their claws clicking against the obsidian floor, their amber eyes glowing with the weight of their legacy. Elder Karin led the charge, his flame-red fur bristling, his voice a growl that shook the hall. "This human taints our stage," he roared, his tail lashing. "He must be cast out." But Vera stood before them, her baton at her side, her gaze unyielding, her silver fur gleaming like a challenge, her tail still but poised, a quiet storm. "This human," she said, her voice a clear note that silenced the room, a melody that carried the weight of her conviction, "has woven a tapestry stronger than any symphony I've conducted. He is my equal, my partner, and I will not abandon him." Silith stepped forward, her obsidian fur gleaming, her baton raised in solidarity, her voice a soft but firm counterpoint. "He fought for us," she said, her eyes meeting Karin's, her tail steady. "His art saved us." Mirith spoke last, her voice a whisper that carried the weight of centuries. "Let them prove their bond," she said, her clouded eyes sharp. "Let them show us a new harmony." Taryn, standing at the edge of the hall, her hands clenched, added her voice, her tone fierce. "He's one of us, and he's more than you'll ever understand." The council's decision was exile, a punishment disguised as mercy, a reflection of their fear of change, but they granted Vera and Elias freedom to leave together, a concession born of respect for her art and the undeniable truth of their bond. In the temple's glow, beneath a sky of falling petals, they made a silent vow, their hands entwined, their shadows one. Elias took her hand, his fingers entwining with hers, human and Cuivane, fragile and fierce, their touch a harmony that defied the galaxy's scorn. "We'll weave a new story," he said, his smile defiant, his eyes alight with love, a fire that burned brighter than any star, a tapestry that could outshine the auroras, a galaxy where we write our own score, where humans and Cuivanas stand together, their strengths a single melody. Vera's tail curled tighter, her claws retracted, her touch a promise that needed no words, a melody that spoke louder than any symphony. "Together," she echoed, her voice a melody that could move the stars, her amber eyes glowing with a warmth that rivaled Akarashi's lanterns, a light that promised a future unwritten but radiant. The Starling was repaired, its hull patched with Cuivana tech, its engines humming with a new rhythm that sang of freedom, a song of hope and defiance. Vera chose to leave her stage, her title, to follow Elias to a neutral colony on the galaxy's edge, a world of rolling hills and twin suns, where humans and Quivane worked side by side, their differences a harmony rather than a discord. Silith and Terran joined them, their skills a bridge between worlds, their presence a testament to the bonds forged in Akarashi's crucible. As they stood on the shuttle's bridge, Akarashi's spires fading into the distance like a fading note, Elias wove a final tapestry, a memory of their first meeting, her smirk, his defiance, the spark that grew into a flame. He projected it on the bridge's hollow screen, the images swirling, the square's chaos, the garden's quiet, the temple's triumph, each moment a thread in their shared story, a tapestry that captured their love. Vera watched, her hand on his, her tail brushing his leg, and for the first time, she felt not the weight of performance, but the freedom of love, a melody that needed no audience but them. On the colony, they built a new life, a symphony of their own making. Elias taught the children to weave tapestries, his hands guiding theirs, his stories of Akarashi sparking wonder in their eyes, his tapestries preserving the hope of a people who'd lost so much. He wove tapestries of Earth's oceans, of Akarashi's cherry blossoms, of Vera's symphonies, each one a bridge between their worlds. Vera conducted symphonies, her baton weaving light and sound, but now her music carried a new note, hope, born of the human who saw her heart, who wove her into his soul. Her performances drew crowds from across the colony, humans and Quivani alike, their cheers a chorus that echoed their unity. Silith learned from Elias, her baton now a tool of peace, her symphonies blending with his tapestries to create something new, a harmony that spoke of a future where differences were strengths. Terran built new tech, her hands crafting neural interfaces that let humans experience Quivana symphonies, her work a testament to their shared vision. At night, Elias and Vera sat under alien skies, her tail curled around him, his hand in hers, their laughter blending with the wind. A song that needed no words, a melody that was theirs alone. They spoke of the future, of a galaxy where their children, human and Quivane, might weave and sing together, their art a testament to what they'd built. Elias wove a new tapestry, a vision of their life on the colony, of a home filled with light and music, of a love that defied the stars. Vera composed a new symphony, her mother's melody finally played, a song of grief and love that brought the colony to tears, its notes a bridge between their pasts and their future. The narrator's voice, warm and resonant, carries the tale to its close, a final chord that lingers in the air like a star that refuses to fade. In the heart of Akarashi, where cherry blossoms danced and lanterns burned, a human and a Quivana forged a bond that shook the stars. Elias and Vera, two souls defying a galaxy's scorn, proved that strength lies not in claws or spectacle, but in the heart's unyielding song. Their love, a beacon in the crimson night, reminds us. Humanity's greatest art is the courage to care, to weave a dream that echoes through the cosmos, a melody that will never fade.